and Kayla, Pastor McClure, and Dr. Silvernail. And Kayla, Pastor McClure, and Dr. Silvernail. Am I the only one who just heard myself echo? Okay.
Okay, Caitlin, we are live streaming now, and everyone should have gotten a notice that we are live streaming. Okay.
Hey, Mayor Brown.
Hello. I guess every time you guys see me, I'm in the car, aren't I? Hi, Lee. I thought I saw Lee and Pastor Coles and Rod and
you do everybody. Like you're out campaigning or something?
Well, I was doing a little bit of something. I've been in meetings all day. So hi, everyone. I'll just, instead of trying to call everybody out individually. Yes.
Hey, Ms. Brown.
Hello. Is that Miss Eulayla?
That was
Lakeisha.
No, who's
that? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Hey, Lakeisha.
How are you? You're
all
fine.
Right. Okay, let me put myself.
Mary Frances. Ayla. We got everybody getting on now.
All right. Who else we're looking for?
Dr. Silvernail.
Silvernail, okay.
I think we can go ahead and get started and just maybe he'll pop in during roll call.
All righty. All right. Well, welcome everyone. Today, thank you for joining us today for our Pitt County Farm and Food Council meeting. I do call this meeting to order at 5:03 p.m. And next, Caitlin, we can do roll call.
Awesome. CD Gay and Lauren Howard notified me of their absence this evening. Then we have James Rhodes.
Here.
Eulayla Williams.
Here.
Mayor Glorstein Brown.
Here.
Kayla Hall.
Here.
Lee Guth.
Here.
Lakeisha Pittman.
Here.
Pastor Mary Frances McClure.
I'm here.
And Dr. John Silvernail, TBD.
Awesome, awesome. All right. Well, I hope everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from our last meeting on February 15th. Does anyone have any questions or corrections for that? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the meetings from minutes from February.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, minutes for February are approved. All right, so we have some guests with us today, and we can go on the order that you are listed here, but if you could just join us in sharing your name, who you are, what your organization is about and everything. So we welcome you and join you for being here with us tonight. But first, can we speak with Mr. Bobby Jones? Oh, he may have stepped away. All right. Mr. Bobby, if you're there, you're not unmuted yet.
I have him here, but I think he may have stepped away.
Okay. All right. Brett, would you mind joining us?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you so much for having us. My name is Brett. I'm one of the contractors or the contracted administrator for the North Carolina Food System Advocacy Coalition. Bobby is our contracted organizer. And I actually have a PowerPoint, if that is okay to share. If I can share my screen.
Let me share the screen with you.
Awesome, thank you.
Are you ready to do that now, Ms. Pittman?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, great. And it looks like Bobby is reconnecting. Rural Wi-Fi is just one of the many reasons we have to pass the farm bill.
Exactly.
Happens to me all
Brett,
the time.
Brett, see if you can share now.
Yes, I can.
Great.
Thank you. And Bobby, I don't know if you can hear us, but if you want to introduce yourself while I'm setting up, that would be great.
There we have Bobby.
Okay, my name is Bobby Jones, and I am with the North Carolina Food System Advocacy Coalition organization I'm operate from is down East Coalition Environmental and Social Justice Coalition and the Goldsboro Resilience Hub here in Goldsboro, North Carolina. And I am the organizer with the North Carolina Food System Advocacy Coalition. I'm glad to be here with y'all this evening.
Yeah, so maybe we'll jump right in. Can everyone see my screen okay? Great. So yeah, we are from the North Carolina Food System Advocacy Coalition, which was founded a little over a year ago as groups were coming together because of COVID. It became clear that food system inequalities are perpetual throughout COVID and before and will continue after. So we, our founders were like, we should create something that will last past the COVID crisis. So yeah, we're really excited to meet with you all today. So
And
really quick.
Sorry,
Bobby.
Okay, I'm going in and out. But as an organization, we really take pride in the fact that we are an extremely diverse group. We're from all over the place. We function every day in different silos all over the state. But when it comes to doing the work, the good work, if you will, of the North Carolina Food System Advocacy Coalition, we really all meet at the intersection of sustainability. We all, regardless of what our background, whether it be environmental and social justice like myself, or it's farming, or it's food hub, or it's banking, whatever, we support the notion of prescribing to a sustainable process to farm, to take care of our community or whatever we do. So that's where we meet. And that's kind of what we want to talk about tonight.
So really quick, I'll go through our mission, vision, and unifying principles so y'all can have a better idea of what we're about. Bobby summed it up pretty well just now. But this is our mission and vision. I won't read it. Y'all are welcome to. And I believe Rod sent this out beforehand. And I can also send a link to, the Google Doc version. But our mission is essentially what guides our day-to-day, what we are striving for and our goals. And our vision obviously is our horizon, what we're seeking in the long term, which is essentially food sovereignty in North Carolina and throughout the country, to just have, a wonderful, peaceful utopia of food wonderfulness. Because who doesn't love food? And here
And-
are unifying
Well,
principles.
and our unified principle and our unifying principles. We talk about our core values, what we strongly believe in, what we will go to the mat for, if you will. And this is what we take with us every day and every time we venture out to do any kind of work for the coalition. Our coalition is our first unifying principle is racial equity and justice. You know, we're soundly grounded in the ongoing process of anti-racism, racial equity, and challenging white supremacy. That's woven into the foundational fabric of our organization. We center the voices of powerful groups targeted for oppression, including but not limited to Black, Indigenous, and people of color, women, LGBTQIA+, and undocumented people. Community-based approach. We build trust and relationships through working with communities and acknowledging their history, their inherent strengths, and their resilience. Ethical working and living conditions. We value food justice for all workers, regardless of documentation status in the food chain, who deserve dignity through safe conditions, compensation, and definitely health care.
And Bobby,
We
I'm
believe in
gonna,
access to land and capital. We work to protect farmland and address it.
Bobby, I think I can send this out again, but just since we're so limited on
I
time,
didn't,
can you hear me, Bobby?
okay.
Is that okay
Okay, well, let me just,
to read
yeah,
through
you're
just the
going in and out,
titles?
but so tell me, how much time do we got now? Okay, cool. Okay, and because everybody have access, will have access to this. Okay, access to land and capital, sustainable and ecologically centered agriculture, infrastructure to improve food system, logistics, food sovereignty, and education. These are our core values, our unifying principles.
Thank you, Bobby. And so we're a coalition made up of over 50 individuals and organizations, including Reverend Cole's wonderful organization, Churches Outreach Network and Interfaith Clergy, Moms Rising, Student Action with Farm Workers, the North Carolina Rural Center, Down East Coal Ash, Environmental and Social Justice, and multiple food policy councils, just to name a few. We have statewide and more localized organizations in our group. And we have 4 like bucket areas that people fit into. Obviously, organizations don't always fit so nicely into boxes, but we have folks that are specifically looking at environmental justice and agriculture, food security and nutrition, food system worker and farmer support, and local food system markets and infrastructure. And so all the work we do kind of centers around those 4 groups. And so we have 3 working groups.
And we accomplish what we are trying to. I'm having some issues with hearing.
Can y'all hear me
Can
okay?
you go to the next slide?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is it, Bobby, is it me or can everyone hear me okay?
We can hear you okay, Brett. It's more on Bobby's end. It's kind of breaking up.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, test 1, test 2, test 3. Did you hear that?
Yes.
That was perfect.
Yo, I don't
So
know
we
what's going on.
currently,
Go for it.
okay.
Go for
We
it,
have
Brad.
3 current working groups and like kind of projects that our coalition is working around right now. The first is a candidate forum, which is putting together a virtual candidate forum to discuss the interests of, or our interests, and how different candidates running for both federal and state levels of Senate and House feel about food system and all those issues we discussed earlier. We also have an education group, which I'm a part of, that puts together educational panels and presentations and information about how to support farmers and equitable food systems and prevalent policies. So we just had a group of people talk about the Child Nutrition Reauthorization Act. And then Bobby, if your internet is okay, I'll pass it on to you to talk about the advocacy group.
Okay. Am I still breaking up?
You're okay.
Am I still breaking up? I
I
guess
can
I am.
hear you
Well,
okay.
let me try to get in. I'm good.
Yep.
Okay. Can everyone else hear me? Am I still breaking up?
You're getting thumbs up, Bobby.
Okay. The advocacy working group. I go with the advocacy working group. Okay. I go with the advocacy working group. We're organizing 13 teams of coalition members, 1 in each national congressional district. And they're coordinated by team captains to work with the congressional representative. And our goal is to improve the North Carolina food system. Next slide.
So the advocacy group has had a bunch of meetings already with Senator Burr and Tillis, as well as Representatives Price, Budd, and Adams. And North Carolina has Rep. Adams, who's the vice chair of the House Agriculture Committee. So we're really lucky because she has a ton of power. And we've talked about reconciliation and climate and infrastructure investments, conservation research, as well as food and nutrition needs across the state.
Our upcoming meetings with the legislature include that we're currently planning, and we've had some already, meetings around the fresh produce procurement reform act. And our goal is to have meetings in every district with every representative. So let's talk a little bit about the Fresh Food Procurement Reform Act.
So really quick, just
I'm
overall.
self-conscious that you're not hearing me, but if that happens, let me know, and I'll try to dial in and augment sound.
Bobby, do you want to take this one?
Let me try to get another sound meaning.
Okay, so yeah, I'll just start and say that on average, the USDA purchases are around
I'm a
$2
little self-conscious
billion.
because I can't determine whether if I'm being heard or not. But
Yeah, Bobby, we can hear you. I don't know if you can hear. Okay, I'll just go. Basically, the USDA spends a ton of money on commodities to distribute to feeding sites around the country every year, right? And the data shows that of that, only $560 million have been spent on, or sorry, only 6.5 million have been spent on fruits and vegetables, and it's only 3 varieties of fruits and vegetables. So our government is spending a ton of money supporting farmers and on food, and it's not a lot on fresh produce, right? So the USDA's centralized model for food procurement is not built to effectively move local fresh produce and veggies, fruits and veggies to families in need. And we hear from food hubs, and I'm sure you all do too, that that's the number one thing folks ask for is fresh fruits and veggies. We're really, really lacking that. I can see Lakeisha is nodding along. Like that is not something that is provided often enough. And so the basic thing that this bill would do is establish a new mechanism for the USDA to purchase a wide variety of US grown fresh fruits and veggies for distribution to those in need. So the program would provide more robust market for small and medium-sized growers and socially disadvantaged populations through the supply chain. So essentially, it would help change the way that the buys food to allow them to buy more fresh fruits and veggies and buy from local farmers.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, Bobby, we can hear you.
Okay.
All right. You want to take the next slide, Bobby?
I will. The lesson we've learned from the farmers to the family food box program serve as an excellent model for how to build a more nimble, responsive, inclusive, and resilient food distribution system for fresh produce. The Fresh Produce Procurement Reform Act will direct USDA to implement a new fresh produce purchasing program that unlocks the potential of our diverse local and regional supply chain to distribute fresh produce to those in need.
So the USDA would be able to partner with existing farmers and distributors and food hubs to purchase, pack, and deliver fresh fruits and veggies to food banks, schools, youth serving organizations like the YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club, tribal governments, and just like other nonprofits and community organizations serving nutritious, insecure populations. So again, like we were saying, fresh fruits and vegetables are the number one thing asked for in food banks and food hubs and food pantries. And so this would be able to directly provide those products to the people that need them the most. So recipients would again get a wide access to these products, and it would be locally sourced, which is good for our local economies and also for the environment because we're not shipping them in freights and all of that.
The USDA would consider values other than lowest cost bid and awarding contracts. That is one of the biggest impediments at present now to get local and small farmers in the bidding and the contract securing process, because they have to have so much money on hand in order to be able to participate in the bidding process, providing opportunities for a wider variety of high quality produce sourced, packed, and distributed from growers and distributors of all sizes, including veteran, women-owned, and socially disadvantaged members of the agriculture community.
So that is like a super brief introduction to this bill, HR 5309. You can remember it because of the song, 8675309. That's how I remember it. But yeah, does anyone have any questions about this bill or about our organization?
And we know that we've gone through fairly fast, so we have allotted enough time for any question that you might have. And I apologize for whatever technical glitch that might have occurred, but I can assure you I had nothing to do with it.
That is all right, Mr. Robbie. Does anyone have any questions?
I do. Where do you stand? Where do you stand with this bill? I mean, I know you say you met with I think you said Senator Tillis and Burr and some others. So what are their take on this?
We haven't met with them about this specific bill. We've met with Representative Adams.
But let me
sorry, Bobby.
Yeah, let me respond to that. And I'm glad you asked that question. What we're doing right now We're organizing our districts around the district captains, like I mentioned, and our goal is to set up. We're currently setting up meeting with those representatives, and our goal is to set them up before the end of the month because they start appropriation talks next month. So we're going to be sitting down before the end of the month with Representative Murphy in District 3, and our team is led by Reverend Coles, Pastor Coles, and Rob Dev. So it's a dynamic duo that's leading this team, and so we're excited about what we're going to be able to inroads we're going to be able to make with Representative Murphy. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I'll add that after we met with Representative Adams, she signed on to the bill. So we're really
awesome.
excited about that.
Okay.
So she's
Thank you.
co-sponsoring it now.
And I add, once again, that's why it's so important to have the advocacy teams led by local leadership, and we want local people to be involved on those teams, because when we go to see a congressional representative like a Representative Murphy, we're their constituents, and they want to hear what we have to say, and they want to respond to what we ask of them and what education that we provide for them. So we really encourage you to get involved in the process. Like I say, we got a dynamic duo team of leaders that's doing this, and we're really excited about what we're going to be able to get out of District 3. Are there any other questions?
For me, I saw that, looking at as far as like the fresh produce itself, for our food bank, we've been looking at recently about culturally meaningful food. So I see that it was mentioned in some of the documents that was sent over that you are looking at, or that folks are looking at culturally appropriate food for the areas. But is there anything specific, or are they outlining that to kind of make sure they're actually getting the right things?
Excellent question. I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Lakeisha.
Lakeisha, that's an excellent question. Well, that's why it's important that we have local, get more local farmers involved in this process, because local people are sensitized to what people in our local community need, what their eating habits are, etc. And we get a fresher product, quite simply. We get a fresher product. And like Brett said earlier, it's less harmful to our environment to drive a diesel tractor and trailer from Florida to North Carolina, or drive a pickup from across town, so to speak, across county. So we hear you, and that's a very important point, and that's we will be making that point with the representative.
And it is in the bill that it is an eye towards culturally appropriate fresh fruits and vegetables that is determined by the population served. And the bill guarantees at least 7 types of US fresh fruits and vegetables. That's based on the dietary guidelines for Americans. So yeah,
and we've got data to show that we have made some mistakes. And we had food boxes that were really culturally insensitive when it comes to food, that were really kind of downright inappropriate. And so we got that data, and we're aware of that. And a part of this Reform Act is to address that and correct some of those issues.
Thank you. Thank you both.
So I have more of a comment than a question, but feel free to elaborate on it. I know that you guys really encourage people to take part in the meetings you have with legislators. And it has taken me several years to really understand local policy, and I feel like I've barely even scratched the surface of it. So I think it's a really good opportunity for people who are interested in understanding local policy and how it works to participate in these meetings. And they are always very informative through their emails about when the meetings are happening, when they're doing the meeting preparation. So I'd say get on the listserv if you're interested in that, and then keep an eye out for when these meetings happen.
I just want to add on, I'm glad that you say that. It takes two things to move things, to take education as well as legislation to move. And my heart is to really try to help feed the community, but there's so many farmers and only maybe 2 people, well, maybe 3 people know Jim Cox, who he can give it a story how we work with a farmer named Mr. Carr in the field, and he would make you laugh. For those who know Jim Cox, how he gave us 4 acres of land to plant. He actually planted string beans, corn, and squash, and that me and Jim Cox and a few others had to go get. And it was just so much, but there's so much folks out here that we can really bring this to a point of helping all people, the farmers, as well as helping the local food banks and the people who's getting this food. Fresh food is very important. We have Jason Brown coming down. For those who may not know him, but you can Google him up. But he left it was an NFL just to plant 1,000 garden, and it's beautiful. I mean, I've been out there. Now he's doing chickens and everything else out there. I mean, but yeah, I'm gonna pause right there. But I'm really glad for this coalition and what we can do to help. And just thank for the food counselor, because I remember when y'all first getting going, and just to see how you guys have grown. I'm really I'll give a thumb up to Keelan Hall, because she was really faithful, all that stuff. All right, we'll pause.
I appreciate both those comments, and let me say very candidly, I'm, as a member of the coalition, I feel very fortunate to have you, Pastor Coles, as well as Rob Deb, as members of the coalition, and on that District 3 team. I mean, I've talked to you. I've tried to keep up with you for a few minutes one day, and I got exhausted on the telephone. So you are, we're excited to collaborate on this with this team in District 3. And oftentimes when our representatives go into appropriations, they don't have any input, any information from their constituents. Well, guess what? It's going to be a little different this year. They're going to have some information. So we're thankful to be able to be a part of this meeting with you all, and we appreciate that. And Caitlin, I think I pronounced your name correctly. What you did was an excellent segue into our next slide, right, Brad?
Yeah, I do see Lee. Do you have a question real quick?
I do have a question, and I apologize. I'm doing a couple of things in the office at the same time, so I had to step away, and you may have addressed this. Are you all also trying to contact local farmers to prepare them for this potential market? Or is your role to advocate to have the policy changed? Which way does that go?
Okay. Reverend Coles could answer this question for me, but I'm gonna steal his thunder here. What we're doing is we're not taking a shotgun approach. This is a multifaceted approach, if you will. We're going to do both. Okay, we're influencing policy around the Fresh Food Procurement Act, and we're developing a District 13 advocate team around district captains and a part of that team will be farmers, will be bankers, will be whoever is concerned about the community and want to do something about the food system in your area. So a lot of the members on that team will be farmers. And like I say, if you follow Pastor Coles around, you will see the the number of and the diversity of the people that he has in contact with, and that I'm sure will be a part of his team. Does that answer your question?
Possibly. I guess Mike, as the extension director here in Pitt County, one of the things that I'm well aware of is that farmers have to plan in advance. And so if this funding is going to be directed to buy local produce from local farmers in June of 2022, and farmers don't know this and they have not prepared to increase their supply, then I think you're going to see a challenge there.
Yeah, this bill is hopefully going to become a marker bill in the 2023.
Thank you.
Farm
That's
bill.
what I needed. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, like Bobby said, we try and work with farmers and then folks like yourself as well to fill in those gaps about how can we get the word out to support farmers. And
Okay.
Rod, I see, but thank you. That's
really what I was
important.
trying to get at. Thank you.
Yes. No, yeah, of course.
Great question. Thank you.
Yes, I was wondering if I could ask the view of the Farm and Food Council, what role do you have? I imagine that if this Reform Act gets into the Farm Bill, the big omnibus farm bill, that you'll be the ones that have the personal contact with a lot of the farmers and are going to be encouraging them to participate and to make contracts and to implement this. So the second part of this question is, what is your role? Are you able to join in advocating for, this is an advocacy group that we're a part of. Are you able as a Farm and Food Council to either individually or collectively join in advocating for these things that help the community access fresh produce, as well as make more economic opportunities for the local and small farmers? I mean, is that something that you can do?
Yeah, I would defer to you and Caitlin on that.
So that always gets a little tricky. Our purpose is to be supportive, to foster a better network, to promote farms and diminish food disparities. In terms of policy, we're really trying to feed back to county commissioners as well. So, I can't really promise anything. I think it's one of those things that we would have to work through on how to best take action as a food policy council. Certainly, distribution of information is something that we can do. I think individually, if members wanted as individuals to be advocates, to join your team, to write letters, yes. I'm not sure that our role as a council would be to write letters or, make statements. So we'll have to kind of work on that and get some guidance from commissioners and our county higher ups on how to handle that. That doesn't really help a whole lot, does it?
No, thank you. That's helpful. We don't want to have We don't want to expect anything that's really not in your, you know, and would get you in trouble either.
Right,
We
right.
need to understand your role. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, we do, I think we do see the need for systems change and policy change, and we can foster the knowledge of that. But we're going to have to figure out if we can be active advocates, and where that'll take us.
Yeah, and our coalition, you might have noticed, one of our buckets is not government folks. That is pretty intentional. Because of that, we don't want anyone to be caught in a hard place. And so folks like Lakeisha, you had mentioned you work with a food bank. So if you have your food bank hat on, we would love to have you as part of the District 3 team, and other folks that are with nonprofits or farmers. That is awesome. And government folks, we'd love to connect with you about, like Lee just said, dispersing information, and if you need help working through policies. But so yeah, I will take that opportunity, like Bobby said, to talk about how folks can get involved and the various ways that looks like.
Can I make a comment before you go there?
Yes.
And that is, it's important that you gather this information and take it to your congressional representative, because they want to hear this. They need that information. They need that input. And unfortunately, too many times they've not received that input, that information. So it's important that we do get together as a team. We do gather this information, and we let these representatives hear directly from their constituents what's going on, the struggles that they're having, and what they need from them. And because what are we talking about here? We're not talking about everybody getting a pay increase or a new house or new car. We're talking about food. So it has been my experience that all of the officials want to hear this information. They want to get that, in particular, from their constituents. Hopefully that provides some clarity.
And I actually do have one more question. So, one of the problems that we hear often with small farmers is ease of access to markets. So with the Reform Act, what would the market look like? Is it money coming directly from government agencies to purchase the food? Is this money going to like local nonprofit organizations to purchase, through, things like Food Fresh Fire or farmers markets, or what is that going to look like?
Yeah, it's the money, or the act essentially changes the market restrictions of the USDA. So the way that food banks and youth groups and nonprofits and schools receive food from the USDA won't change. It's what food they'll be able to access, because the USDA's purchasing restrictions will become a lot less strict, and they'll be able to purchase not just based on lowest cost bid. Does that make sense? And distributors are also included in this bill because obviously we know that farmers don't always have the capacity to, especially small farmers, package and clean and transport.
And I think one of the other things that Caitlin may be speaking to is things like being GAP certified as a producer. That limitation prohibits small producers from selling to school systems in North Carolina without having gone through that process. And so are those things going to be lifted or changed, or will they? Then that's, again, speaking to my earlier point, if farmers will need those types of certifications, that's a step that happens a year before you ever get to the actual squash.
Yes, that, as far as I know, you would still have to be GAP certified. And yeah, that's something personally that I would love to see in the Farm Bill is more accessibility for the GAP certification. But we collaborate a lot with the National Sustainable Agriculture Coalition. So I just wrote that down as something to bring that to them about and how that incorporates with the bill, because I'm actually not sure. Bobby, I don't know if you have more insight.
I know that everybody is concerned about that as well. And that is definitely on the radar screen, and that's being looked at seriously, because it really does makes for a unequal playing field. So I'm going to be advocating for that to be addressed. So.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, y'all. I know we're over time. Really quick, the ways that you all can get involved. Bobby, I don't know if you want to talk real quick more about the District 3 team,
Yes.
But I'm going to put this email in the chat as well. So if you all are non-governmental and want to be on our listserv and yeah, just get information about our meetings and stuff, please reach out.
Right. So couple ways, John, Rod, Debs, and Pastor Coles on the District 3 team, and that is a beginning. And then become a part of the North Carolina Food System Advocacy Coalition, and email us to get on our listserv, and then once you can complete the application and become a part of our group. We only ask that you prescribe to our mission, vision, and our unifying principles. And we meet bi-weekly. Our next meeting will be 1 o'clock Friday on the 8th, this coming Friday. And please do consider becoming a member by joining.
Well, thank you so much for that presentation and sharing all your good bits with us. We really appreciate having you tonight. So if you would like to continue to join us, you are more than welcome to, but we will continue on with community announcements and updates. And so I will call everyone from a list here that I got written down. So Lee, would you mind sharing some updates with us?
I don't have anything right this minute to share, other than we're doing well with the bonus bucks at the farmers market. Have had over $564 in SNAP EBT, as well as bonus bucks since January. So we're pleased about that. That's all.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Let's see, Miss Eulalia.
Yes, we are making progress at the community garden. We have several applications in for different kinds of grants. They cut down our pecan tree, which was old and had a lot of shade. So we're trying to figure out how to recover from that. And we're looking for the Boy Scouts have put in our fruit orchard and done all kinds of stuff. They have really been heroes at the community garden. So we're going to plan a celebration. We're trying to do it the first or second week in May, and we'll make sure everybody gets invites. As far as the distribution, I don't think anything has changed. So I talked this morning with one of the two ladies that rides around town with a rolling cart and shares the excess that they get from where they go. Actually, she walks around with a rolling cart. There are two. As far as we've gotten so far with the distribution problems. And that's all I have for today.
Well, thank you, Ms. Eulalia. And does anyone have any questions for Lee or for Ms. Eulalia? No questions? All right, Mr. James.
Hey again, everyone. Just a couple of things. The first one I think I've alluded to in a couple other meetings. We have started in earnest the update to our countywide land use plan. Certainly, we gained some, I guess, notoriety in the planning field here in North Carolina when we added access to healthy foods and to recreational facilities in our last land use plan update. We certainly hope to expand upon that this time. Would also like to partner with, again, the health department, as well as cooperative extension as we move towards updating the plan. We're already reaching out to some of the stakeholders, including soil and water conservation, as well as some other groups that have some interest in agriculture as a whole, and especially farmland protection. So that's been something that our Board of Commissioners has been interested in the past. You might remember there's been a voluntary ag district proposal that's been floated through and accepted. And in turn, if you ride around the county now, you'll see some of those voluntary ag district signs up at certain locations where those applications from farmers have been approved by our council that's involved with that review process. So all said, our planning board tomorrow night will get a nice preview as we kick off the planning board serving as our steering committee on this land use plan update, which should be completed by the end of the year. So there'll be plenty of meetings. We're getting out face to face. We're going to take it to the community. Certainly one north of the river, 2 or 3 south of the river, and we'll be floating that information out. Also launching a new website to get the information out to the public. So we welcome you to become involved with that. We'll have a mailing list and a distribution list, email distribution list for folks to become more involved. So that's probably the big hot item for us right now, and certainly need all the input and involvement from this group that we can get. So welcome any questions, Lakeisha.
Hey, James.
Yes.
This is Kayla. So if you can send, as you get those announcements about the community things, if you want to send them to Pitt Partners for Health also, as well as the Pitt County Farm and Food Council, and send to me, and I'll send them out to like some of our grantees. And
Absolutely will. Thank you, Kayla. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. James? Okay. All right, Mayor Brown.
Yes. I would just like to say I'm going to leave the community gardens to Mary Francis, let her handle that. I would just like to say that I'm excited because PCC has just finished up a class at, excuse me, with my church they used the Life Center, and they did a class on finances, and they had a very good group. They will be starting another class in June. I think it's June. It's either April or June. I can't remember, but they're going to be actually doing computer classes to help, because we do have an interest in the community of a lot of people wanting to know how to do the basics of computers. We're also going to have a different Easter egg hunt April the 2nd, excuse me. And this time they are including vendors. So I think they have up to probably 30 vendors or maybe a little bit more. And you'll be able to take pictures with the Easter Bunny and of that nature. And today we were entertained with Dr. Gary Moore over at the Bethel Youth Center. His father did a presentation today on public health disparities. It was a great presentation. His name is Dr. Jack O'Lanier. I mean, very interesting, and had some very good slides and information that he shared with us. So that was a lunch session today. And last, I would just say that if you don't, I think I may have mentioned it, but I am official now. I did file for the North Carolina House for District 8 for Pitt County. So I'm asking for your prayers. And if you got family in my district, know anybody, please, I'm asking for your support as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Anyone have any questions for Mayor Brown?
No, I wish I was in your district, Mayor Brown.
Thank you.
You would definitely have my vote.
Thank you so much.
I've just seen so much happen in Bethel in the past couple years, and it's just it's turning around, and you know that's you and a lot of other folks coming together, and just pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work, and I'm just excited because the old grocery store, like I said, a gentleman bought that, and they're working on that, and it's not a grocery store, but at least someone is going to be occupying the building. And we have another building that was across the street from the school, so to speak. And it was a car dealership, but the owner come back in and has went in and refitted the place. And I mean, it really looks good now. So I think that may will open up. And I heard it may have a grill in there. And so little things are happening. I mean, I know it's not going to turn overnight, but I'm still very optimistic. I'm not giving up. Even on our downtown, we got a lot of interest in downtown now. So it's going to happen. Just slowly, but it's going to happen. Yeah.
That's great. A lot to be proud of.
I am very proud. I am.
Awesome. Well, Miss Mary Frances.
We were blessed by ECU students who came and worked in our community garden before it started raining terribly and snowing sideways like it did last week. And we've gotten 2 of the gardens tilled, and I think Fred's was out there working today. We've got 200 sweet onions and like 350 cabbage plants planted. We're working on having people be satellites to our community garden, in that we can go and plow your place for you in your yard. And so to kind of spread the wealth across town. And it's looking good out there.
Awesome.
That's a cool idea.
Oh, and we've got the Pitt, the Greenville Community Farm or Community Garden gave us a bunch of seeds, and so we're super pumped about that.
Yay. Awesome.
Mary France, was that Making Pitt Fit Community Garden?
Yes, yes,
Joni Torres?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
They are actually 2 different groups.
Oh, is that okay? I can't
Yeah.
remember what Jenny's wonderful, and has, like, I went out and toured, and just trying to get some other ideas to add to our community garden.
Right. And her position is funded through the Vidant Health Foundation. And while she manages the Making Pitt Fit Community Garden on County Home Road in Greenville, her work is far beyond that. And so part of her mission is to, and for everybody else on to train, to share seeds, to consult and try to help people be successful. So
yeah, she came out and met with Fred. I was there for a little bit of it, but
great.
And that's just going to be a great resource. And now we're plugged into her email loop.
Exactly. That's how it's supposed to work. Super.
Yep. So that's been a very helpful connection.
Great.
Kelly, did you have something to ask?
I'm good. I just thought it was a cool idea that they're going to go and plow, people's till their yards and help them take that step toward growing their own food. I really like that idea.
And we think we're hoping that the Bethel Community Advocacy Committee will have an office that's next to the community garden. And so we're hoping to add a seed library there. And that'll be kind of the hub for someone to say, hey, I want to have a garden in my yard. Can you help me? And so it'll be a place that people can go. And so we're excited about that. And that'll be next to Fred's office and the community garden.
I'm curious if you've heard of having satellite gardens before. Is this something you guys came up with?
We kind of just came up with it because people were, if you have space in your yard, which a lot of us do, and you might not want to walk all the way over to the community garden, it's a way to also make sure it's in all parts of town, not just downtown.
Can I say something?
Sure. Hi, Leila.
Yeah, hi. I really love that satellite garden idea. I was thinking about, say we get that grant from Small Axe Peppers, how many more peppers we could plant if we consign them out to different people in their yards. So I love that idea. And the seed library and the office and the plowing. Now I had a question though. How do you get how is the plowing being done?
We have a crazy man in Bethel. His name is Fred Whitehurst. He's an attorney and his office is directly across the street from the church. And he started the community garden. It was before I was here, so I don't know quite all of the story, but he didn't tell his wife, but he bought himself a tractor. And so he had ECU students up on that tractor and they were plowing to beat the band. So
he's a good man.
Great.
He's a great man.
You guys should all look him up sometime. He has an amazing background.
Yeah. His Wikipedia page is quite entertaining.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy for your progress and encouragement.
Yeah, so now we have five main plots of the garden, and he went and plowed someone's yard yesterday, I think, for their garden at their house, and they started planting stuff today. I saw pictures on Facebook. So.
And what's his name again?
Fred Whitehurst.
Okay.
He used to be in the FBI.
Okay.
You probably will find it under Frederick. Look at Frederick Whitehurst.
Yeah. But he is he whistle blew on the FBI. So he was in Vietnam and he's a talker, but he's always said something interesting. But he has a heart of gold and has done a lot for our community and buys up dilapidated houses and helps us cut things down and clean up town. And
it's really cool.
He's a forensic scientist too.
That too, yeah. I mean, he's just one of these people you're like, what? Come visit me in Bethel. I'll take you to lunch and I'll introduce you to Fred.
Awesome.
Sounds like a fun field trip.
Oh yeah.
It will be.
Yeah. We'll do it, won't we?
All right. Well, Kayla, what updates do you have?
I really don't have much. We're looking at a lot of grant applications right now, both in Pitt County and all across the system, Eastern North Carolina. So, and as typical, a third of the requests that are coming in are for food security and for nutrition, food education programs, cooking, that kind of thing. Anyway, so it's all good stuff.
Thank you. Dr. Silvernail.
Good evening, everybody. Don't mind my messy desk behind me here. And good evening, Pastor Coles. I haven't seen you in ages. I think we have a fishing date somewheres in the future, don't we? Hey, guys, good news. COVID continues to recede and recede at a fairly rapid pace, not just here across the state, across the region. Don't speak for Vidant, but the Vidant numbers, system numbers were down today. Percent positivity down for the state, down for us. Cases per thousand down, very, very low level. We were 0.6 cases per thousand, about 66 per 100,000. So good news on that front. We're looking to try to get out and re-engage in some of our in-person activities. I've allowed my home visiting staff to start doing home visits instead of doing them virtually. Our in-home breastfeeding is going to be going back into the home. We anticipate some reluctance on both sides of that, both from staff and from some patients, but we do want to get folks back out into the community. And then planning to announce at our general staff meeting in April the plan to re-engage in some of our group activities. I think by then we'll be in a place where we can do that. So barring, knock on wood, knock hard, any drastic change in COVID or uptick in COVID, I think we're going to try to get back to somewhat normal business operations here, normal engagement operations that we've been in. So I think that's good news for everybody. We were kind of first in and we'll be last out of this mess, but we do need to normalize things. So in a good place, and I think that's good news for everybody. And I was going to suggest to us that maybe next month we could even meet in person instead of via Zoom, assuming, again, no drastic change in COVID.
That would be a great thing.
I'll be there for that. Everyone's
Caitlin's got a big smile on her face.
That announcement was coming.
Oh,
You spoiled it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
can't wait.
Well, with
I
your
was
permission,
kidding.
I'm saying I agree with that strategy if that's where you want to go. So
Yeah, that's always good if you get a endorsement from the health director or, an in-person meeting. So there you go, Caitlin.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Dr. Silver.
That's all I've got.
Anyone have any questions for Dr. Silver now?
Yeah,
No,
real quick, Sylvanelle, I know you're talking about going back. I just want to ask you about the one I heard about this morning. That is it, if I'm saying it right, the Deltacron. Did I say it right?
You did. There was a report a couple of months ago, I think it came out of Cyprus, of a Deltacron hybrid virus that was believed to be contamination in the sample. I don't know if I believe that yet. I'd have to go back and look. One of my staff was saying something about that in England. The predominant Omicron came around initially as what was Omicron B.1.1, and then there's a subvariant or cousin of Omicron that's Omicron B.2, and B.2 has been replacing B.1, but the clinical syndrome is very similar. Again, very mild on average for most folks, and immunity to Omicron B.1 likely gives immunity to Omicron B.2. The Deltacron had been in the news, oh gosh, Glorstein, probably a month or more ago, and forgive me because I just have no perception of time anymore. And there were reports that there was a virus that looked like a hybrid virus of the Delta strain and the Omicron strain, but the thinking was that was likely contamination in the sample. These sequencing is so sensitive that if you've got a piece of one virus and a piece of another virus in that sample, you'll amplify them both and detect them both. So that's what it was thought of before, but I will look for that again. And sometimes I think there are some folks out there that just don't want this to end. Yeah.
Right.
But it really looks like Omicron may, when we finally do get to write this story, Omicron may be the hero of the story in that it made so many of us sick in such a short period of time that it served as Mother Nature's booster for many of us, and may have gotten to that point of what we can consider some degree of herd immunity. And there's also a lot of vaccine immunity as well out there with, in Pitt County, 57% of folks in Pitt County have had at least one dose of vaccine. 53% of folks in Pitt County have completed the primary vaccine series. We could do better on our boosters. We're only about 41,000 folks that have had boosters or third shots in the county, but there is a lot of immunity in the community now from both vaccination and natural disease. So far better place than we were 2 years ago.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for all that you and your staff have been doing too. Yeah.
Thanks, Kayla.
Hey.
Whew. I always thought
Yeah.
it was just a planning scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Dr. Silvernail. From my end, any far as updates are concerned, the food bank, we just had a listen and learn series. We got those started back up for this year. Our first session was this past Friday on March 11th. Really great session that we had on innovative food safety and storage options. Our presenter, Sarah Bostic, had a lot of experience in farm growing up and throughout her adult life. And so she was kind of sharing some great things that folks in our pantries could do to help make sure to keep their quality of their food the best that it can be and not being transported and bruised and all that stuff. Even had a cool idea to use Cool Bots, which basically turned an air conditioner into a whole different system to use like a shipping container to use it as a refrigerator. So that was really cool. We did that on Friday. Kids Summer Meals, application is still open for that until the end of this month. So still looking for sites for this summer, and that will close the 31st. And then Yam Jam is next week. Finally, after 2 years, we get to have Yam Jam. I can't believe it, y'all. This is kind of on me and Lauren's end of reporting for this, but Yam Jam will be next Wednesday, the 23rd. And so we're going to be sorting 24,000 pounds of sweet potatoes with ECU students from 10 to 4. So a lot of volunteers are going to be out there. Us from the food bank is going to be out there helping out and advocating for it. And CLCE office is going to be helping out, of course, many other offices across ECU's campus. So we're super excited about that. And forecast looks good. I know it's a little early now to say, but forecast looks good for next week. So finally get to have our Yam Jam. But that's all for me. And Caitlin, unless anyone has any questions for me, I will turn it over to Caitlin. All right. Caitlin, it's your floor.
So for anyone who's following along on the minutes, you will see that the first item under my updates is transition to in-person meetings. Yay, finally. So Lee actually did give me the green light to do it this month, but because we were having the North Carolina Food Advocacy Coalition already planned, I knew that it would be easier for them to stay virtual. So sorry, Kayla, I know you're really eager, but I had to block that one for this month. But if everybody is in agreement with meeting in person next month, then we'll do that. We'll meet at the Ag Center in the kitchen. I'm imagining I can get that reserved. I don't think a lot's happening there yet. So can I get a thumbs up from everybody if you're looking forward to it? We got a lot of thumbs up. I don't know.
Just say yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. I don't know if we will have the opportunity to do kind of like hybrid meetings to continue virtual if need be. For example, our farmer who is signing on, or hopefully signing on, they had mentioned how virtual would be easiest for them. So I might need to speak with the county about that, see if we can make that happen. But we'll just count on moving forward in person from here on out. James, did you have
Hey,
something to say about
Caitlin,
that?
this is James. Eli's already looking into that. So yeah, we
Okay.
should be able to accomplish that. We just need to know the meeting room and then we can help get that set up.
Perfect. That is great news. So the next things I have, I'm just still keeping some upcoming educational opportunities. Grant opportunities are available through Community Food Strategies for the upcoming 2022 Rural Summit. That is March 21st through the 22nd. It will be virtual. And then they continue to provide grant applications or grant opportunities for Racial Equity Institute trainings. There are several dates available for that. Both of those are hyperlinked in the minutes and in the agenda. A couple updates from our action circles around fruit, farm, and economic development. There is work underway on a new Food Pride grocery store in downtown Grifton. I actually found out about this on the news, so I don't have a whole lot of information about this. Lee and I talked about it a little bit, but it was very new to both of us. So I'm hoping to learn more about that. But the store is being built at the corner of Gordon and Queen Streets, about a block away from Town Hall. So if anybody has any information on that, please do chime in. Let's see. We talked about the double bucks at Leroy James, land use plan being underway. There should be a local composting company starting very soon. So Mary Frances, I will try my very best to get, I know you've been looking for compost, so hopefully we'll have some for you soon. Let's see, food security. One of our Action Circle members, Zach Hackney, just took a job with FNF. So he is the FNF program assistant educator. Very excited about that. So through our food security meeting, he started making connections with both Kayla and Alice on working on programs for kids in the future. And he continues to be involved with the Farmville Soup Kitchen and the Farmville Community Garden, which is really great. And we talked about the Farmville Community Garden having to get together in May for Boy Scouts. Hoping that some of us can make it out there. They've done really great work out there, and we want to continue to support our youth, especially in the food world. And so between both nutrition education and food security, we are working together to identify a good location to house information from the Food for Pitt app that recently came up in a Pitt Partners for Health meeting. Some of our community organizations really relied on that app to send information along to their clients. So now we're looking at just putting the information on a website somewhere. Catholic Charities has talked about hosting that information. There's different ideas going around. Kayla and I talked about possibly getting a better understanding of NC Care 360 to see how they can get involved. We do still have all that information in a spreadsheet, so it's available. We just need to put it somewhere. So for those of you who relied on that information or know organizations who did, we are working to get that back at a central location. And then more on the nutrition education Action Circle. We are getting back out in the community. We have a daycare visit tentatively planned for April 8th at Follow the Sun Daycare, where we will be reading to them about nutrition education and or food security, or depending on what book they choose, and then teaching them a little bit about gardening. So we'll be giving the class, I think 5 seedling starters for them to grow together in their classroom. The next Farm and Economic Development Action Circle, tentatively March 21st. Those meetings, we have been sending updates out and seeing if people want to meet or just send updates, just based on the information that we share. It tends to be kind of slow moving. Food security, next meeting date will be April 11th at 3:30. And then nutrition education, next meeting date will be April 6th at 3:30. So always, invite you guys to hop on to those. Even if you don't have anything to share, it's nice to see what's happening around the community in those action circles. So that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions for me? No? All right, Lakeisha, back to you.
All right, well, this has been very good. So do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, that is approved. We adjourn this meeting at 6:21 p.m. Thank you, guys. Our next meeting will be April 19th at 5 p.m. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
See you, folks.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us, Rod. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Caitlin.